The night began like any other in the quiet town, where streetlights flickered and windows glowed softly with ordinary lives inside. No one knew that this calm would soon break into a silence that would last for years. A silence filled with questions, regret, and the echo of a truth that refused to surface. In a small house at the edge of town, a woman named Lena sat alone. She was not famous. She was not powerful. She was simply present in a moment that would later be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Elena had spent the day working a long shift. She returned home tired and thoughtful. The air inside the house felt heavy, as if it knew something she did not. She placed her bag down and stood still, listening to the quiet. That quiet would become important later because it was the last peaceful moment anyone could remember. Across town, a man named Daniel drove slowly, with his hands tight on the steering wheel. He had lived in this town his entire life. People knew him as polite, dependable, and calm. No one ever described him as dangerous, but calm can hide storms. And storms do not always announce themselves. Daniel parked his car and sat for a long moment. He stared forward as if watching a future that only he could see. His breath was steady. His face showed nothing. What happened next would change. How the town understood safety and how it understood trust. Later that night, a call came in. It was brief. The voice on the other end was controlled and quiet. There was no panic. There was no rush. The caller said there had been an accident. The caller gave an address. The caller waited. When officers arrived, they found the house dark, and the door was unlocked. Inside, they found Elena. She was gone. There were no signs of struggle, no broken furniture, no shattered glass, just the stillness of a life that had stopped without explanation. The town woke up to shock. Neighbors stood outside whispering. News spread slowly. Then all at once, people asked the same question. How could this happen here? Investigators worked carefully. They photographed every corner. They listened to every sound. They searched for something that felt out of place, but the house told them nothing. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The case grew colder. Elena became a name on flyers. Her face stared out from bulletin boards and phone screens. A smile frozen in time. Daniel attended the vigil. He stood quietly among the crowd. He bowed his head. No one noticed anything strange. Why would they? He spoke to investigators when asked. His answers were clear and steady. He said he had been driving. He said he heard about the incident like everyone else. Nothing contradicted his story. Time passed. The town tried to move on, but something lingered. Parents locked doors earlier. Lights stayed on longer. People watched each other with new eyes. Years later, a new detective reviewed the case. She was young and persistent. She believed that silence often hides meaning. She read transcripts late into the night. She listened to recordings again and again. One call caught her attention. The voice was calm, too calm. She noticed the pauses, the breathing. The way the caller described the scene, it sounded rehearsed. She compared the voice to others. Traffic stops, routine interviews, archived recordings. One match stood out: Daniel. The discovery was not dramatic. There was no sudden confession, just a slow tightening of the truth. When confronted, Daniel did not deny it. He did not raise his voice. He simply looked tired. He spoke about pressure, about fear, about a moment that went too far. He said he never meant for it to end that way. The town reacted with disbelief. Some refused to accept it. Others felt betrayed. How could someone so ordinary hide something so dark? Elena finally received justice. But justice didn't bring peace. It brought understanding. Understanding that danger does not always look dangerous, that evil does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it waits, and sometimes it lives next door. Even now the house stands, lights off, windows closed. A reminder that stories do not end when the noise fades. They live on in memory, in caution, in the quiet moments when you realize how fragile normal can be. The town remembers, and it will never forget the night that taught them the cost of ignoring silence.